Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Intro time. Welcome back to Gunners Collective TV. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. I appreciate all the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So I get asked this a lot. You know, when I first started my very first YouTube channel, I had some bangers. Let's be real. I told stories that had everybody like, who the fuck is this guy right here, right? And I gained a lot of support, a lot of following, man. I was blowing up. I was blowing up on YouTube because of those stories that I told. But my YouTube channel fell apart. It got destroyed. We're going to simply everything it touches, he destroys, right? Somebody Ivan Drago with my channel and they knocked it up out the ring like he did Apollo Creed. So I lost all them videos, all them great stories. Well, there's one in particular that everyone always asks me to tell. So today, only today, I'm going to tell it in its whole entirety. And that's the story about Big Smiles, right? Big Smiley from Eastside Fresno and how he went from being a Norteño. Excuse me. He wasn't from Eastside Fresno. My bad. He was from Westside Fresno. What? Right? Say what? Show. Westside Fresno, WFN, how he went from a West Fresno Norteño and he sucker punched us. He turned Bulldog on us and we never seen it coming. So here we go, the story in its entirety, Big Smiley. So when I was in the Youth Authority, when I started off in Nellis, I went from NRCC to Nellis, right? Fred C. Nellis in Southern California and Whittier. It's no longer in existence. That's where Oparu Cash Jones was when I was there. Several other people were there. That's where I really got schooled and gamed up in gangbanging. It was gang related. There was black and brown and black and Crip and blood and north and south. And there was a little bit of everything going on. Battery packs, rocks inside packs, shanks, anything you could think of. It was happening on top of the YA games. You had YA games giving YA games piggyback rides. When I say YA games, this is what YA games were. Stupid shit, kids stuff. Couldn't eat certain foods because it disrespected. Couldn't eat a salad because it disrespected Salinas. Couldn't eat sloppy joes because it disrespected San Jose. Couldn't eat red jello. Couldn't eat green jello. Couldn't eat blue jello. There was all these fucking games. Couldn't eat after no one. You had to brush up if you fucking ate after. It was just too much. Way too much. Northerners wore their boxers fucking inside out because we didn't want to wear the same boxers that the Southerners wore. Just craziness. But these were the games that you had to play or you were dropped leva and there was no coming back from that. Never, ever, ever. So learning all what I learned in Southern California was a blessing going down south because I learned the ins and outs of how the Southsiders ran their program. We already knew how the Norteños ran our program. It was a strict, very determined program. Wasn't very many of us, so we were determined to stay alive if we could. And I learned a little bit about all the different gang members. So when I go up north, I was already laced up. It was cool. I ended up doing about 3 years in Nellis and I transferred to Preston. When I got to Preston, the gang banging was real because the Bulldogs had already pulled away from the Northerners, meaning that there was already the Bulldogs were no longer claiming Norte. They had did that severing, cut the umbilical cord and swam away. So now it was full out wartime. This was 1994 and it was full on war with Fresno Bulldogs and Norteños, especially with Northerners from San Jose and Fresno. For some reason, them two groups hated each other. So I was in the mix. I was definitely planting my flags and representing the Huelga bird at the time. There was no such thing as active Norteño, non-active. You were a homie or you weren't. You know, hey, are you a homie? Yes. Then come over here. Are you a homie? What is that? The fuck over there. That's just how that was. So when I got to Preston, it was just guerra. You know, you've seen some Southern and Northern things, lightweight, but it was mostly with the dogs. Dogs and Northerners. At that time, there wasn't very many Southsiders in Preston. So the ones that were there, they would get off when they had to get off, but we weren't focused on them. Didn't do too long. Did about 8 months in Preston when one day they came and said, roll it up. They shipped my ass to Carl Holton. Now, Carl Holton was the only place I've ever been, ever in my life, where Norteños were the majority. Not on every compa. Compas are the buildings. We call them compas. Not on every compa, But the majority of the compas like Tejon, Mono, Carson wasn't. That was all Southsiders, right? And that's going to come into play. Tioga, Sonora, they're Northerners were the majority. You know, you got 73-man dorms. There'd be like 40 Northerners on the dorm and like 20 Southsiders. And that's just how it was, and some Bulldogs. So anyways, when I first got there, I get to Mona Hall. After I go through the reception that they got there, I end up on Mona Hall. And it's mainline in the Youth Authority in Carl Holton. And that facility, the whole facility was considered a drug facility, meaning if you had a drug program, which a lot of us signed up for the drug program because we thought we were going to get time knocked off. We didn't realize gangbanging meant we were going to max out. To me, and why, if you didn't max out within the first few months, you weren't doing it right. You were not really about the business. If you got out on your parole date, you was a poop butt. You was a poop butt, man. Don't lie to yourself. Hey, I'll beat you before I cheat you. Don't lie. Everybody in YA maxed out. That means you had an earlier release date that you can get out like 2-3 years earlier. And then you had your max date, which was the longest they can keep you. Well, some of us got kept longer than that, right? It was crazy. Some people got more time, went to prison, got that M number. But anyways, I digress. I'm over there chilling in Carl Holton, gang of Northerners on my unit. It's all lovely. It's all good. Like I said, Nortenos were very, very deep. Now, there were some Bulldogs there. There was one in particular named Cisco Aguilar. And when I got there, bad boy from Sacra, who was one of my taitas when he was in Nellis with me, was chilling with Cisco Aguilar. Cisco Aguilar is a well-known Bulldog out of Fresno. There's a lot of people who know who he is. He's with the motherfucking business, okay? With the shenanigans. It was him and Marcos Terones, two fucking well-known dogs. There was a few other dogs there, but these dudes were cool. Now, Marcos kind of kept to himself and just did his time. Cisco was a little bit more wild. Like, he's ready to throw fucking hands, everything. But they were still kicking it with the Nortenos at the time. Now, this is after the Bulldog Northerner split. You have to understand this. There was still a lot of dogs that still were playing both sides, meaning they'll still kick it with Northerners. Then there was the hardcore ones that kicked it with Southsiders. Then you had the ones that just were dogs. Like, they were all different. Depending upon where you went, you had to be ready for whatever. So when I got there, of course, coming from Preston, I was in all-out war mode with the dogs. Even though I got a lot of respect and love for the dogs, it just was all-out war mode. So I get there, bad boy runs me down. Now, Cisco's the homie, this, and that. Cisco's like, man, I don't give a fuck. I'm always going to be Norteño, this, and that. Whatever. We were hella cool. Well, I end up getting transferred to another unit, right? Another building, another compa, which was Tioga. And I wanted to go there because all the heavy hitters were over there, all the Norteños. That's where that dude John Diesel was. Again, he was over there on Tioga. There was like about half and half Southsiders and Northerners. He was a BB. He was there. I have nothing bad to say about him. He was just doing his thing, right? I was just doing my thing, which is crazy. And it flabbergasted me that he's like, Gunner was the lever, Gunner was this. Like, come on, bro. You were just doing you righteously, and I respect it. And I was just doing me with the homies. You know that. So anyways, we're all in this facility together. Well, there started to become tension between Bulldogs and Northerners. Other Bulldogs that were like against the Norte started to get there. One was Blinky from Eastside Fresno, who got into it with my boy Puerco from San Jose consistently. When we were in Nellis, he was one of the ones that would rush. You little ugly fucker with blowguys all over the place. So he ends up coming, and my boy's like, oh, I'm going to get him because Puerco had pulled up too. He's like, oh, I'm going to get him in the square area. He ends up getting him in the gym, rocking him. Now, there was a homeboy named Big Smiley, Big Smiles, Big Smilon. He was from West Fresno Norte. He had it on his WFN, right? And me and him used to walk to school together. He was in Carson. He was in Carson, which was another building. I was in Tioga. So we'd meet up and walk to the school area together. And he hated Bulldogs. Just despised them, right? Anytime he seen a Bulldog, he'd be like, man, them fools fucking, they're switch-up artists. You know, his thing was like, they dropped out, man. They were homies. They fucking switched up. Fuck that, right? That was his thing. And him being from Fresno, he had big old Fresno on his back. He would always take his shirt off, walking to school and shit. The staff and the cops would be like, hey, put your fucking shirt on, Bob. Also, he'd be like, this Fresno. He had a big-ass deep voice. I remember. So that was my boy. So we were on a mission to plaquear Blinky, meaning we wanted to jump Blinky. Yeah, we wanted to jump his ass, right? So we ended up going to the gym. And the gym, they used to have circuit training. It was PE class. He had that class with me. So the plan was the homeboy Puerco was going to take flight. And me and Big Smiles were going to jump in. Like, we're going to fucking kick it off with the dogs. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Everyone's all kicking it. Oh, man, I'm cool. Because Carson, the unit that Big Smiles was on, the Bulldogs that had pulled up, they were kicking it with Southsiders. True story. They were cool with them. At the time, Big Smiles couldn't take it, right? So I'm like, why don't you start beating up dogs over there? He's like, no, fuck that. They'll jump me, right? And I was like, because over there was mostly Southerners and dogs, and he just happened to be a Northerner. But because he was so big, he was a big old fat fucker, probably like 6'3". He was a big dude. they never fucking moved on him, but they knew what time it was. He'd always take his shirt off and bust their eyes with Fresno, and the Bulldogs hated that shit, right? Because he was a Northerner. So anyways, we're kicking it. We catch up with Blinky. We do our thing. We get busy on him, right? Boom, 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 boom. Homeboy Puerco from San Juan takes flight. Him and Blinky fought like 3-4 times. They would always go back and forth, back and forth. And Big Smiles is fucking like blocking everyone from getting in. And me and fucking Puerco are getting off, and the Big Smiles kicks him in the face. So the Bulldogs were like, we got to get rid of that Northerner, Big Smiles. Well, this is what happens. So meanwhile, I'm on Tioga. I don't know what goes on like in your compa. That's your business. You handle your business in your compa. I only know about the common areas, the school area, going to church, chow, like all that shit, right? And in chow, in fact, in chow, you don't all see each other because what they had was 2 buildings were connected by a chow hall. So it was like Mono and Carson were connected. It was like Tioga and Sonora was connected. I think they had Donner and Ebbets, and then Tejon and Yuba Hall. Those were the compas there. They were all connected. So you would go to chow, and then they would go to chow. Sometimes the door would open. You see the other compa look in their day room. That's how it was. Anyways, we're kicking back, right? We're walking to school. Big Smiley's concerned. I said, well, why you look all concerned? He said, man, I think the dogs are going to get at me, bro. Them and the Southsiders are going to jump me. Well, there was a Southsider named Grumpy from 18 who I was in Nellis with, who I knew pretty well because we fought 100 times. Like, but I can say we fought so much, we end up being cool with each other. You know, when you fucking hate someone that's your mortal enemy and you fight and fight and fight, you end up growing a bond. Like, hey, fuck, bro. My fist has hit your face more times than I could have ever imagined, right? I've touched you more times than you. So he's walking, he's on Carson. He's like one of the main Southerners there. So I hit him, I said, hey, Grumps. He's walking the square. He looks back at me like, man, Buster, why are you talking to me? I'm like, hey, let me get at you, bro. And he's probably getting ready to fight. Like, fuck it. He's with 2 other little Southsiders. One was from San Diego. I don't know where the other one was from. I think it was from town something, like Townsman or whatever. Townsman 13. So anyways, he falls back. I catch up to him, Big Smile. I'm like, what's up, man? The dog's tripping or what? Because it was crazy. When it came to Bulldogs, like, even though they were cool with certain people, motherfuckers still talk behind their backs. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what's up with the dogs, man? You know, it's the homeboy Big Smiley. So I told Smiley, just take flight. Just take fucking flight, bro. Anyways, he's like, yeah, I'm just going to do that. That dude Grumpy's like, nah, I ain't heard. They ain't talking about moving on him. I said, you fucking paranoid as fuck, bro. Big old fat motherfucker, fist like that, paranoid. So anyways, and you got to understand, Big Smiley hated Fresno Bulldogs. Like a fucking hatred. Anytime they'd walk by, he'd be like, I smell dog shit. Like, he just hated them. Well, this is what happens. So some dude pulls up from Sanger. Okay. When he pulls up, it's going to be problems. It's going to be issues. I already knew right from the top. When I seen that dude, he was a big old dude. He was like 19 years old. What the fuck you doing around a bunch of kids? Weirdo, right? He's a big old fucking dude. He had a big old rocha. Looked like he just fucking paroled from Folsom. He had these fucking dark ass lokes on. He walked around with his hair slicked back. He had Bulldogs all over him. And he hated Northerners. His thing was he was gathering his troops. There's going to be some issues. The Bulldogs that were once kicking it with Northerners and cool started to fade away. Can't do that no more. He was immediately their shot caller. Like, he had a lot of influence. By this time, Cisco and Marcos and them had already paroled. They're gone, right? Because Cisco had that shit sewed up. He would have been like, man, I don't give a He just slapped him, right? He was no joke. But anyways, this big motherfucker was from Sanger. He goes to Carson, where Big Smiley's at, right? So I'm like, damn, I'm telling the homies, like, hey, Smiley's going to have some issues, bro. That big motherfucker's going to get it rocking in there. Especially when he sees Smiley's back, big old Fresno Norte, like, it's cracking. Okay, now Smiley had an XIV, or no, he had a WFN over his eye. It wasn't under his eye, it was over his ey. WFN X4 or something. Okay, so, no, my bad. It was right here. So Smiley doesn't come to the square. I'm waiting. I would always wait on him, like, damn, where's the big homie at, right? He doesn't come, so I'm all sad and shit. I'm walking with the other homies. Me and Shorty from Salas would walk. And one day I see Smiley. I'm shooting wheelers over there, like, trying to communicate. What's up, Big Smiley? I'm telling the other homeboys, what's up? They're like, it's all bad. But they won't tell me compa business because that's their business. You handle your own business on your own compa. So I'm telling the homies, what's good with Smiley? Why does he come? Because he got chorro or what? Well, you know, what's going on with them? He got the bubble guts, or, you know, is he scared to fucking fight the Bulldog? We're like, what's going on? They're like, bro, he's hanging out with that dude. Fucking, his name was Shy Boy. Big Shy, right? Shy Boy from Sanger. And I was like, what do you mean hanging out with them, bro? That's a dog. He was like, yeah, bro, dogs are all fucking plotting and there's only like 3 or 4 homeboys over there with Big Smiley, right? So they're like, man, we're gonna have to get off, bro. You know, ain't no rolling it up, piecing up in YA. There is none of that. They didn't have PC. They didn't have fucking roll it up, fake a heart attack. They didn't have fucking go deep break. They didn't have none of that. You had to fight or get beat up or get fucked, whatever, whichever one course you took. Diddy would have enjoyed it. So I'm like, oh shit, can't be true. Ain't no, not Big Smiles, right? That's the homeboy. So me, another homeboy from Soho, and Shorty from Sawdust are walking the score area. Big Smiley comes out, and I knew right from the gate, right when he came out, this motherfucker changed on me. He used to be like, I've like spiky, fucked up hair. I used to always call him like, damn, bro, get a fade. Like, do something with that shit. Get corn. I don't give a fuck what you got to get, bro, but pat that shit down like a brother does, right? This motherfucker's hair was slick back. He like grew hair in 2 weeks. His shit was slick back. Gang of fucking 3 flowers. 3 flowers, you could just smell 3 flowers all over the compa. Damn. That fool had 3 flowers in his shit. He had the lokes on. He used Shy Boy's lokes. He had the lokes on. He was walking. I could see a dark ass splotch on his eye right here, right? And that fool, he did the game. He put a fucking big old dog paw over, and I looked at him and I go, Smiley, and he just wouldn't talk to me, just kept walking. And I was like, Carlos, come back. Hey, that dude Shy Boy looked, he said, this Bulldog. Smiley turned around, he was like, West Side Fresno Bulldogs. I was like, what the fuck? This dude turned him out. This Vato, I don't know if he gave him a reach around. I don't know what he did, but this Vato turned dog on me, right? I had a lot of those things happen. But I was like, bro, we're talking about someone who was stomping dogs out, jumping on them, fighting them every chance he got, disrespecting them, hated them. That dude influenced him. He turned dog, right? So he's walking, and I remember I was like, Carlos, come back, right? And he just looked at me. He just mean mugged me, right, with the lokes on. But when he took the lokes on, like a movie, right, he lifted him down. I could see a tear in his eye, and I was like, I could see the reflection of a Huelga bird in his eye. I was like, whooping, whooping. Right? I went super Norteño mode on him. And I was like, and I remember thinking Star Wars in my head. And I was like, come back to the dark side. Luke, I am your father. Come back, right? And I remember he hit me with the fucking the Yoda. I said, come back, Norteño, right? He hit me with the Norteño, no more I am, right? And he just kept walking. I was like, oh, hell no. So the homies are like, man, Big Smiley. So then he went from hating Bulldogs to now he hated Northerners with the passion. So I ended up going to the gym. When I go to the gym, he was in the gym. So I got at him. I was like, what happened, bro? He would not talk to me. He ignored me. And I said, man, that's some fucking bullshit, bro. I'm your boy. We shared sandwiches together. Hey, what happened, right? And he was like, hey, man, I'm where I need to be with my people. You know, Fresno's all turning dogs. And they were slowly converting, right? They were in, what do you call it? Like they were in transition. And I was like, fuck, hey. So I'm thinking, all right. And he was like, yeah, I can't fuck with you. And so he went on a vendetta against San Jose. Him and that dude, Shy Boy. Shy Boy was like shotgun. Shy Boy never touched nobody. If you guys know him, I think he was from Selma or Sanger. If you know him, that Vato never did shit. He would just direct traffic. He would always send the Bulldogs at Northerners, and man, they were boo-bopping and getting boo-bop. But Smiley, man, I'm kicking back, right? I'm in class. It was a science class, and it's me and my boy from my town, one of my best friends, and the homeboy Shorty from Salas. These were my boys. And I see an alarm go off. Bing, you could tell. You could just like feel the alarm when it goes off. There's like tension. One of the other cells is, not the other cells, the other classrooms is rocking, right? And I see the cops got Big Smiles handcuffed, and I see a homeboy all leaking because Smiley was big. And we're looking like, oh, fuck that, right? There's a little Bulldog sitting there like, oh, no. I said, get over here, right? Snatched him up. Stop, motherfucker. Because we're not getting, retaliation is a must where we're from immediately, right? The Bulldog's like, fuck that. He's in office defense. He's getting the muzzle put on him, that motherfucker. I ended up going to the hole, which was Yuba Hall. Because I didn't stop. They had to mace me, drag me, whatever. Me and the homeboy, Shorty, right? My boy B, he had come time, just bounced out. We go to the oil where fucking their Big Smiley's in there. Big Smiley goes, he sees me come in. He's like, hey, what are you in the hole for? And he started saying the word esse a lot. Like I always said the word esse and well, not YA. And YA said ene because you can fuck around and get dropped level. But I always was known for the word esse here and there. That I said the esse slip, you know? He's like, but he started saying esse or dog a lot. He's like, what's up, esse? What are you in here for? I was like, bro, I beat your homeboy up. He was like, I'll fucking crack your homeboy's whole face. I was like, Smiley, bro, how can you do me like that? He said, oh, you'll see when we get out of here. So we're in the gym about a week later, right? And I'm kicking back. I'm doing circuit training. They used to have us doing circuit training. It's like, guys, skinny. I'm small. I'm over there lifting 10 pounds like I'm doing big things. Oh, there's strength cartel. And I'm trying to get my money on. And this dude, Smiley, Carlos, come back. Oh, he came back, all right. He came back with a motherfucking roundhouse. Boom! Knocked me out of my motherfucking state boots. I ain't gonna lie, I was in that motherfucker doing the fish. He fucked me up, man. The other homeboys jumped on him, couldn't get him down. He was too big, man. Anyways, that was probably one of the biggest disappointments of all time because he was my boy, man. And it happened before too with other people, but I was just like, damn, man, the switch up game was real. And I remember just before I went home, that douche boy ends up leaving. He ends up going to Chad. Smiley's there still. And I'm in the square and everybody knows I'm leaving, like I'm paroling. And so I'm telling all the homeboys, all right, now, you know what I mean? In the square area, Smiley's walking by and he would always mean mug me since he fucking knocked me out, right? And the homeboys retaliated on him. I was just like, I'm going to chalk it up to the game. I'm going to take that. You know, I deserve that. And I seen him and as I'm walking by, he lowers his glasses. That dude gave me his lopes. Like I was his protege. And he looks at me, he says, all right now, dog. I said, all right now, SC. And that was it. You know, that's the story of Big Smile. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. True stories, facts, man. I always think about it once in a while when I'm just kicking back, like, damn, man, whatever happened with the homie right there? You know, because now that I'm older and I don't play that gang shit, I understand why we did what we did. I understand why he did what he did. Not really, though. You know what I'm saying? He was like, he used to talk so much shit about the dogs, then it changed into one. Just made no sense. Anyways, with that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. And that's the betterment of all people. I remember when I got knocked out, my boy see me. He was like, damn, fool, you got an eyeball growing in the back of your head. I said, I know that motherfucker. He said, that motherfucker hit me so hard, I grew a dog paw in the back of my head. That motherfucker put the paws on me. All right, now, this is the gun. Hey, see, I could take L's. I don't give a fuck, man. Everyone always, oh, I won every fight. Stop lying, bro. I didn't. I barely won any. Or did I? One never knows, does one.